Okay.
All right, so good morning.
Good morning.
So yesterday we were speaking about matter, and we were able to come up with the two main types of matter. Who can tell me what those are? Emery.
Pure substances and mixtures.
Very nice. Pure substances and mixtures. So today we're going to focus on one of those two, and that's pure substances. And one of the key features of a pure substance is that it has its own unique profile of physical properties. So what's a physical property? It's simply something that you can either observe or measure about that substance without actually changing the composition of the substance. And what you'll find as we progress in this class and we do more work in the laboratory is that knowing the physical properties of substances and how to take advantage of them is going to be very useful in lab work. And more specifically, two of the things that you can do if you know the physical properties of a substance are to distinguish between two different substances and to separate several substances that have been mixed together. So we're going to talk about separations tomorrow, but today I want to focus on working through a problem where we're going to try to distinguish between two substances based on their physical properties. So I'm going to pass around the room these two beakers, and I want you to examine them. And what I'll tell you, the information that I will tell you, is that one of them is salt and one of them is sugar. And our task is to figure out which one is which. So go ahead and rotate them around the room, take a look at them. I'm telling you that it's either salt or sugar, so feel free to try to smell it. So when I tell you this is our task, what's your gut reaction? How would you tell apart salt and sugar?
Taste
Taste it, yes, that's very logical, and it's great to be logical because sometimes it's easy to overlook the simplest answer. But this is chemistry. We never taste anything in the laboratory, so I'm taking that off the table. That's not going to be one of our options. What are some other things that we could do to try to tell apart salt and sugar?
Melt it.
Melt it, and so what would that tell you? Why would that help you figure out?
You could figure out the melting point.
And you think it might be different for
Possibly.
these two substances? Okay, so what about, I'm not hearing a lot of people chiming in, so let me flip the question on you and say, what are the physical properties that are not helping us tell them apart? In other words, what are the physical properties that they have that seem to be almost identical?
Color and size of the granules.
Color, okay, so they're both white. Let's say like the texture, the granules, it's almost like microcrystalline is a term that we would use. What about the phase of matter, solid, liquid, or gas? They're both the same phase, they're a solid. So what's becoming very clear is the properties that we can observe using our five senses aren't very useful right now. And what you'll find as you move on further into studying chemistry is that many of the properties you can't simply observe. You would have to use a more sophisticated technique. And there are many physical properties that you can't see, that you can't smell, that you wouldn't even be able to taste. So, where are my two containers? They made their way around. All right, so one of the physical property that is different between salt and sugar is something called conductivity. Conductivity determines whether or not a substance can conduct electricity. So we're going to do a brief demo. This is just salt and sugar. They're not dangerous, but whenever we work in lab, we always use safety goggles, no matter how silly it looks. So all I'm going to do is add some distilled water to each of these two substances and dissolve the substance. And then I have this setup right here, which is a light bulb and two electrodes. What do you think I might be interested in doing? Any ideas?
Putting the electrodes in the diluted substance and then see, maybe turn up the current and see which one allows the current to pass through more easily.
Right, so what would you expect for the substance that can conduct electricity?
The light to turn on.
Right, and the substance where it doesn't turn on probably means that it's not conductive. So let's test this first one and see if we get any result. So as you explained, if it's conductive, these two electrodes, the circuit will be complete and we'll be able to see the light bulb light up.
Oh.
So that one seems to probably be which substance?
Salt water.
Salt. So salt is a substance that is able to conduct. And so in between, I want to rinse off these electrodes. Why am I doing that? Why do you think?
Because there's some of the substance left on there and you don't want to contaminate it.
Exactly, we don't want to contaminate. So now we'll take the other substance and test whether or not it lights up.
Nope.
No.
And it doesn't. So this is a great way to tell apart salt and sugar. And there's many other physical differences between salt and sugar. This is just kind of a cool way to do it. One other interesting thing, that idea of how to figure them out, is what if I had a bumblebee? How might I be able to tell which one is salt and which is
It
sugar?
would go to the sugar.
Right, so sometimes in chemistry, being creative is the most important thing. So, thank you.